Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On this channel we will be making all kinds of vegan gluten-free recipes. We will be going to restaurants and trying out their food or taking it to go and trying it. Any vegan options in the Ann Arbor area or vegan restaurants too. I really like the one restaurant I went to, Detroit Filling Station. I already made a mukbang of that. If you want to watch that video, I'll put it up in the corner. That place is freaking amazing, guys. If you haven't been, if you live close enough to just check it out, I highly recommend it. If you are vegan, they also have gluten-free options as well. It's really, really good. But anyways, today's video is a video of how I make crepes in my kitchen. I love crepes. I've been making them for like 2 months now, like super often because they're really freaking good. I love them with chocolate chips the most. It's like dark chocolate chips. It's really good. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here are all the ingredients we'll be needing for this recipe. We have the flour here, gluten-free Bob Mills. We have the chocolate chips. I love the 72% organic from Kroger. I have extra virgin olive oil spray just for the pan for no stick. We have salt. We have organic vanilla extract. We have nutmeg, cinnamon, Miyoko's vegan butter. We have vanilla oat milk by Pacific. And then we have the Vital Farms pasture-raised eggs. These are bee certified eggs, so that is third-party checked out for, you know, ethically raising hens, but also never giving them like antibiotics or anything like that. So the reason I eat eggs is because my brain feels like it has everything it needs when I eat eggs occasionally. But I feel like if I do that B certification check, then it's not the type of company that's just throwing eggs and baby chickens in the trash. It's not a company like that. B certification companies are all ethically certified. So if any of you are out there that are vegan and you're like really against this video because of that, I just wanted to show you that, and I'll show you. It's B certified and humane certified. And they don't give their hens any like antibiotics or anything like that, and they're pasture raised. So they are able to run around like normal chickens and just eat bugs and grass and all the normal things. If you didn't know anything about that, I just want to explain it. But without further ado, let's get into it. I have my saucepan here. I have a plate with my syrup in the middle. I have my knife for my butter and my fork. And I have a mixing bowl and a little rubber spatula here. We're gonna need a whisk as well. So I have also my oven heated to like 150, just because I like to put my plate in the oven. So as I'm finishing each crepe, I can just put them in the oven so they stay nice and toasty warm. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first things first is you want to get 1 cup of flour. I'm just going to grab a spoon to get it out. I eyeball everything. So that's probably a cup there. So that's all we'll need with the flour. Alright, so I have my flour, and what I add now is a little bit of nutmeg, just like a few shakes, and then a bit of cinnamon, probably like 2 tablespoons. I'm just doing all my dry ingredients, and a little bit of salt, and then we're gonna give that a quick whisk. Get all the dry ingredients well incorporated. Alright, looks good. Okay, and the next thing you're gonna need is melted butter. Alright, So we're gonna need a decent amount of butter into the mix, but I also put butter on top of each crepe when they're done, just like pancakes. So probably about this much butter, and just turn it on like not too hot. But while the butter is heating up, we can start putting in the rest of the ingredients into the bowl. I always give my nut milk like a good shake, because sometimes you'll get like little bits of the nut milk clumped together. And we're gonna want like 2 cups of this. Probably about that much. We're gonna need a bunch of vanilla. I never go light on the vanilla. That's also what makes it super good. And then we're gonna need 1 egg. So 1 cup of flour, any seasonings that you like. I like vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg. And then 2 cups of milk, 1 egg or 1 egg substitute. And this is probably like 5 tablespoons of butter. But I'm gonna wash my hands real quick because I just touched the egg. All right, and I usually just get all of the ingredients put away that I'm done using. All right, y'all, so we wanna give this butter just a quick spin, and sometimes it helps to kind of like break it up. It melts faster. And just kind of move it around, agitate it. It melts faster. All right, so we got the butter. And now the pan needs to get ready for the crepes. So I'm gonna give it a quick spray of olive oil and give this all a nice whisk. And when you make your crepes, you want them to be wet. Don't be afraid that they're wet. Crepes are supposed to be much thinner than pancakes. And it doesn't matter if there's a lot of clumps, but you just want to make sure everything's well incorporated. And I think that looks good. The pan is hot, so we can rinse this whisk off and get this started. So what I do is I just pour it from the bowl. And I go around like this, around the pan, to kind of even out the crepe. Oh my goodness, it smells like vanilla. I love vanilla. Until it kind of can't run anymore, and that's when I get the chocolate chips. And this is when I give the crepes a little bit of separation from the pan. It looks like the pan isn't as hot as it should be, so I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. It's between 4 and 6. You'll realize as you make crepes more often that the second crepe is always the best. But if you let the pan heat up after the butter a little bit more, you'll never have like bad luck with this part of it. But just be gentle with it. And then also another thing I do is I put like a little bit of butter on the plate in the oven, because it tastes good. So we're just gonna wait until we start seeing little bubbles rise from underneath the crepe. These are super good, y'all. I know that if you try this recipe, you'll love it. I saw a TikToker make crepes, like French crepes, on YouTube Shorts. And since I found out how easy it was, I was like, shh, I'm gonna make these. But gluten-free too. These are really freaking good. But yeah, it's always about patience with the first crepe, because you wanna make sure that it's cooked enough to not rip it. Since the pot was still heating up. But just wait until you try these, y'all. They're so good. Cool, now they're getting a little bit more structural integrity. Perfect. Look at those chocolate chips, y'all. And just to let you know, this batter makes like 3 or 4 crepes. Like decent sized crepes, so it can be for 1 or for 2 people. Sometimes I don't finish the batter, but I found when I saved it for the next day it wasn't as good, so sometimes I just throw out some of the batter, and sometimes I just eat it all, friends. So it's not cooked enough to do a little movement in the pan. So it's just about a little patience here. I just realized I was following this girl. She makes like quinoa wraps. She puts in a blender raw quinoa and water. And she makes them basically like crepes, and they're just wraps. She just like puts parchment paper in between them, and she's got wraps for like sandwiches and shit. I gotta make that. I really gotta make that, because it's the same method here of like making a thin batter and just getting it separated out like on the pan, and then alright, so here's the flip. Like I said, the first one is always the hardest, so be patient with yourself. But you'll get the flip down. You can do it with the spatula, or you can do like a proper flip with the pan. But I didn't put enough oil to do all that. I could tell by the way it wasn't moving when I was shaking it. But this is good coloring for the crepe. The second side doesn't take as long because you don't want to burn the chocolate. So that's something to keep in mind. But this smells so good, y'all. Perfect. But yeah, just give it like a little bit of time. I use my intuition when I'm cooking, so I can't really tell you how long it needs to cook, but it's like really up to the smell, and I just peek underneath as well to see what it looks like. Yeah, we could flip it. So you flip it over once, then you flip it over again, and then I flip it in half because it's easy to pick it up. And any chocolate that's in the pan, just like put it on the top of the crepe. That's what I do anyways. And then I put it into the oven on the crepe plate. And then I put a little bit of butter on top of each crepe. I'm gonna do that again like 3 or 4 times, and I'll see y'all in a minute. Alright y'all, so this is the final product here. We have chocolate chip crepes here. The last one was huge, so I could use all the batter that was left. It was a huge crepe. But yeah, y'all, it looks amazing. I'll try it for you. They look amazing. It's perfectly sweet because the recipe doesn't call for sugar in the batter, but with the chocolate chips and the maple syrup, it's fantastic. Oh, and let me show you what syrup I used because I put it away before I started filming. This is a really good flavor to go with the crepes. I recommend like a pancake syrup. This one, Wholesome, is a brand that does all vegan sugar because sometimes it's processed with like bone char, but Wholesome doesn't use bone char, so it's vegan. If y'all didn't know, that's a good brand to get sugar from. Any brand that says vegan on it is gonna be not processed with bone char. If they don't say anything about it, it is processed with bone char. So just be careful about that if you don't want to get bones in your food. I don't. But this shit is amazing, y'all. That was so good. That bite was so good. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna get eating these crepes, and the kitchen's already cleaned up. But I'm gonna get eating these crepes, and I hope you all have a great day. Stay hydrated. You're crazy. You're crazy.